Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I am Mona Duncan, your moderator, and today we're going to be talking about some fun facts of August. We put this up so we can chat. Appreciate each one of you being here. And so some fun facts about August. I found this quote from Charles Richards. I just think it's very pretty and wonderful. I looked at the calendar and I'm thinking, oh my word, here it is already August. Where did the year go? And anyway, here's the quote from Charles Richards. Don't be fooled by the calendar. There are only as many days in the year as you make use of. And I just think that's very powerful. That if we make use of them, then there's lots of days in the year, the 365, and if we don't, then we've wasted our time. So just a few facts here. August was derived from Augustus and named for the Roman Emperor, Augustus Caesar. It is a popular name in Sweden, and its meaning of the word Augustus is, or August, is venerable, respected, esteemed, honored, revered, and admired. And so those who are born in, or flowers that are known for August is the gladiolas and the poppy. I am a gardener, and but gladiolas has been one thing I've never been able to get to grow for some reason. And usually bulbs are easier than some seed, but and the gladiola is a symbol of strength, of character, of sincerity, and of generosity. Another flower associated with August is the poppy, and it symbolizes eternal sleep, oblivion, and imagination. And I guess that's why there's so many of the poppies handed out by the veterans, that it's looking forward to eternal sleep and oblivion and imagination. And then those who are born in August have a birthstone of the peridot, which is said to symbolize strength and healing power, that even like an armor that protects its wearers, and that it ensures harmony and happiness. And babies born in August are lucky. The peridot gem is deep down in the earth, and is only exposed by volcanoes. So here was another quote that I found, that I put it in two places because I found the handwriting beautiful but more difficult to read. And so I typed it out. And Michael Bridge said this, and I think, with our eyes, when our eyes see our hands doing the work of our hearts, the cycle of creation is completed inside of us, and the doors of our soul open wide, and love steps forth to heal everything in sight. I just think that is so beautiful. So I was looking at August, and truly, may this month be filled with sunny days and laughter and lots of love. And although I'm all for the sunny days, we're here in Texas and we're on our 50th day of no rain, nothing but sunshine, and things are dying. But it's still a beautiful sunny days and lots of laughter and lots of love. August is kind of the halfway point from the year's beginning to the end of the year. And maybe that's why we kind of think, oh, it's already here. But August is known for rest and refreshment and renewal. It also, in looking back at some of the things about August, on Google, of course, and various websites, that August is looked at as the Sabbath of summer. And I like that. To just, it's the harvest is coming in, and we're having the harvest moon, and things have been growing, and now it's time to can and to take care of and to share with our neighbors. And it's like the Sabbath of summer, where we can take that time to relax. But in looking at all these things, I find a paradox. You know, a paradox is where things that are the same, but yet they seem so different. And one of the paradoxes of August is that it is from the outer regions, the inflow of consciousness is more prevalent to come into this universe and into being aware of than any other month. And yet it seems to be a month that it really has no major things that identifies August as August, at least not in the US area. But I like that inflow of consciousness. And as I think about it, I like to look at the metaphysical and just, tear things apart and see what they are and delve into them. And those metaphysical things are the areas that have not yet been measured by science. It's David Bohm, who was known as Albert Einstein's spiritual son, that could see the enfolding and the unfolding of all the mechanics of physics, and that metaphysics, the things that we kind of know internally, but yet we don't know because it hasn't been named and labeled and by scientific measurements, things that can be looked at as being fact as opposed to fiction, even though it may be truth. And so it's going more toward that universal oneness. And Dr. Glasser, in his book, Stations of the Mind, the 10th going up the steps of our growing and our learning and our maturing, the 10th step was the universal oneness. And in that universal oneness, how that we all become one. And again, it goes back to the paradoxes. As we look at the fact that, looking through the lens of choice theory, that we have 5 basic needs, and that everybody in the world has these same basic needs, yet they are met in different ways. I mean, different foods, different activities, different insights, different belief systems, different ways of learning things. And so in looking at this universal oneness, how we often wound each other. And innocence, to be innocent, we come into this world as these, little creatures that are almost like blank instruments, but we're really not. We're innocent. It means that we are unwounded. And so I put quotation marks around this because this is something that I look at. And that is that whenever we err, the mistakes that we make, it is pretty much, if we really look into it, it's coming back from either we were innocent, we were unwounded, not realizing that 2 + 2 is really 4 as opposed to 5, and we'd put down a 5 for some silly reason. But in that era, it is either from the innocence of not having learned enough, not having enough information, or maybe it's from our ignorance of either not learning or not wanting to learn or not being exposed to the right information. And so I'm wondering, with August being credited as having the most gates and the most influxes and the most things for consciousness to arrive on planet Earth, that are you becoming more aware? And if so, in what areas is this awareness being realized? And in what areas is this awareness showing up as a disadvantage? I know with me personally, it's like I don't have a vocabulary to express what I'm seeing and what I am aware of. And therefore it's more difficult to communicate, especially with some longtime friends and family and so forth that are seeing things differently. And then again, to remind us that August, the verbiage of it is to be venerable, respected, esteemed, honored, revered, and admired. And so as we go into this universal oneness that is being talked about and incorporated more and more and more, So we are formed in our mother's womb. And then we become deformed by the wounds of the world. And again, whether those wounds are through innocence or through deliberate rebellion or whatever. And then we become conformed to the ways of others, because we have a tendency to look out and see what's normal, because we don't want to be not normal. And as we look around, we become conformed to the ways of others, need to be like this one, like that one. But we are transformed through words, through the words that we use, the words that we use. Do we use a lot of I cans, or do we use a lot of I cannot? Do we lose a lot of I should and become burdened down by that, rather than using the words I could and actually being engaged in whatever it is that is put before us? So just going to talk for a few minutes today, and I want to finish up with a quote from Carl Jung, who says, in each of us is the urge to become whole. Also, in each of us is the urge to remain broken. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And so in August, when we have a lot of sunshine, but sometimes it drives you inside to be where it's cool, is we can begin to look at the verbiage of August and what it means, and to become more aware of who we are, and to appreciate where we are and the things that we have accomplished in life. So I thank you very much for being here, and many blessings and good mental health.